In this guest post, engaging IO's Matias Bezzo, pictured below, says with the rise of the smartphone and the inundation of emails, the two should not be mutually exclusive. About 8 years ago, I went to an Adobe Creative Cloud Summit. This was when Adobe had just moved to a cloud-based application and revamped all their products. Adobe presenters were wowing everyone with how easy it was to make something responsive for mobile using Breakpoints and Adobe Dreamweaver, a web development tool. The big takeaway I took from that conference was the key phrase they kept repeating: mobile is the norm. This was 2010. 8 years on, everyone has a smartphone, and if you're anything like me, chances are that this morning you were hunched over your coffee, blearily staring down at your device, checking through the myriad of emails you received overnight. The biggest change to how consumers have been using email in the last couple of years is that viewing emails is now occurring mostly on mobile devices. According to the Litmus State of Email 2018 report, mobile accounted for over 50% of all emails, and in 2016 Google reported over 1 billion active users, 75% accessing their email on mobile devices. This number can only be expected to increase in the next few years. Long gone are the days where only business people had BlackBerries that allowed them to check email on the go. Everyone has a smartphone, so everyone has constant access to email. If the email you are planning to send out to clients today is not designed for mobile first, then don't send it. Period. It will do more harm than good. So why do mobile-first email templates make sense? Focus on where the viewers are. Desktop email viewing is no longer the standard. Desktop email readers have been declining steadily since 2014. The Litmus State of Email 2018 report shows that 17% of emails are opened on desktop, while in 2011, this number was 58%. Maximize the impact by designing for the device viewers spend the majority of their time on. An increasing number of email users are now mobile-only. This means that these people don't use a desktop to look at email. In fact, mobile is their primary way of accessing the web. They won't ever be able to see the brilliant desktop-designed email even if they wanted to. Instead, they will get a bad user experience, and more than likely they will be lost from the subscriber list. User-friendly, easy-to-read layout equals good user experience. It makes no sense to use an email layout designed for a desktop screen when it's going to be viewed on a mobile screen. Designing emails for mobile will ensure the email has an appropriate layout that is specifically designed for the device it's intended for. Using a layout that caters for a screen width of 600px when an iPhone X screen is 375px wide will not enhance the user experience. What I commonly see is that the template shrinks to fit on the mobile screen, resulting in text that becomes too small to read and buttons that are too small to tap with a finger. The end result is a frustrating experience for the user. What users now expect is an optimized email with large text, buttons they can click on, a clear call to action, and content that is catered for their mobile. Minimum. Mobile-first email helps keep the message focused. Mobile-first design, due to the restricted available screen space, requires a clean layout and well-thought-out and focused content. With 269 billion emails sent daily, a clear and concise message will go a long way to standing out from the rest. In a world where a person can receive 100 emails a day, spends an average of 3.5 hours daily using their smartphone, and 50% of adults reach for their mobile the minute they wake up, it's now inexcusable to send email intended for desktop when they are being read on mobile. Mobile is definitely now the norm. sign in with LinkedIn. Matías Bezo is your idea of hell, the dull 2-hour meeting that drags on for 4? Well, stroke your chin in appreciation to this. It's the third in B. Undoubtedly, one of the highlights from today's Changing the Ratio was this. Plus, the mini quiches at morning tea. Changing the Ratio is roaring into its afternoon session, and the insights on multicultural advertising are coming thick and fast. To be a fly on the wall at this meeting. Not to suggest we want to lay a larva of maggots. Even B. Gripped by Mondyitis. Brain can't compute anything more than YouTube clips of people falling over. Look what's arrived. Changing the Ratio is on right this second, and this is just like being there but without having to pay for parking. We don't have a trophy for Typo of the Week, but if we did, it'd be shaped by like a wizard-esque dunce cap. B. Sadly, we'd forgotten to pay the gas bill again. Performance marketing company Rakuten Marketing has unveiled a new consent management platform, CMP, for retailers, advertisers and publishers. Compliant with the IAB Europe, Tech Lab Transparency and Consent Framework and developed to date within a Digitrust Now IAB Tech Lab working group, the CMP is a proactive measure to help retailers, advertisers and publishers gain consent under. It's a top new beer ad from Ogilvy. Let's just hope that notorious boosehound Julie Goodwin isn't reading today. KFC has resurrected the Colonel himself. Sadly, no news from Macca's on Mayor McCheese or that fat purple thing. Just as Craig McLaughlin's defamation lawyers declared, "We've got this," comes news that they haven't got it. This year's Logie nominations are in, and what more has Ding Dong Drysdale got to do? B. Starcom announces 3 new senior hires, yet the Biscuit Barrel's milk arrowroot still can't find any takers. Experiential marketing firm Mark Edward Agency, Maya, announced the addition of Cruiseco Australia as client for its communications division. Following on from its execution of the Cruiseco 17th annual conference in Brisbane earlier this year, Maya has been appointed as the cruise specialist's PR agency of record. Cruiseco CEO Amanda McClellan said, having demonstrated there, Seven's new commentary team starts to take shape, as Chappelle forwards his resume for the 118th time. B. AGL is sure to provide this event with some serious energy which will hopefully ignite an industry-wide discussion. The Story Lab is helping time poor cooks. Though that's not to say B. After shocking the world with Meet Graham, TAC is back tackling road fatalities, this time asking youngins to help. An ex-SCA staffer has spilled the beans on M. Rusciano, while B. Samantha Maiden is stood down, as B. The Monkees urges millennials wanting property to ditch their parents for this filthy rich couple, well, sort of. B. Got a big weekend drinking sesh ahead and already dreading work on Monday. Nurse your hangover at Changing the Ratio. B. 303 Mullenlow's latest appointment was made with such haste that the accompanying press pic is a classic cab selfie. When B. What would a Friday newsletter from B. First M. Rusciano and now Andrew Denton. It seems Tom Gleason has a penchant for bagging out media show hosts. It's a case of lucky 13th for Kerry Stokes, as the AFR reveals he's down to his last $4 billion in its latest rich list. German company Super Dickmann makes a super dick of itself with a poorly conceived Meghan Markle chocolate cake. The works tackles Canberra in a can, although no word yet on whether the firework frenzy made the cut. Publicis launches AI-powered innovation Marcel. Meanwhile, B. Study finds 78% of Aussies view news websites once a month, while the other 22% presumably access news via telex. If you mistakenly thought this was an interview with Kojak's Telly Savalas, as it turns out, it's even better than that. A former Today FM staffer has spilled the beans, as in bagged out their colleagues, not dropped the vegetarian nachos. This will be the funniest thing you see all day, unless a colleague slips on a banana skin while holding a vat of ghee. Didn't much fancy that Telstra story above. Well, perhaps B. Rebel Wilson has done Vogue Australia, however, that's not to suggest it was at the urging of her expensive legal team. Magnum. We'd say GDPR is the hot industry topic around the B. HubSpot unveils a new Slack integration that, as you'll read here, has nothing to do with a pair of old man's trousers. AKQAR. It uses machine learning to take both the style and texture of an artwork and apply it to another image to be 3D printed with a UV printer. The works will be displayed at Semi-Permanent 2018 in Sydney from Thursday 24. You may well ask, how does B. Telstra and strife over its "Unlimited" slogan, yet Pepsi Max goes unnoticed despite not really being that Max. Cam King appointed chair of IAB Australia's board, but insists he won't be bringing the meeting's finger sandwiches. If anyone was ever going to get a laugh out of an abortion referendum, then you'd back the Irish every time. First ads for ovens and now natural gas. It's as if B. Have you long suspected Accenture's sinister plans? Well, get set to yell, "I knew it," or "those wily reps," at this. 9 students from Torrens University's Billy Blue College of Design have partnered with WPPA-UNZ's Health. Their creative solutions will be presented at a Vivid Ideas Exchange titled, "Design Can Save Your Life. How Can Creativity Improve Comprehension of Health Data?" Facebook's Alex Sloan answers the tough questions. Not that B. Not that there's any others to choose from, really. Young Lions winners crowned at glamorous cocktail party last night, made slightly less glamorous by B. Does the mere thought of children have you phoning the vasectomy clinic? Well, you're excused here. Coincidentally, this B. XM. Proving B. Not content with simply depressing viewers, it now appears Married at First Sight is depressing the contestants, too. Wednesday is once again in the doghouse, but we're sure nothing a massive royal wedding special can't smoke screen. Such as B. If you want to see the rage an awful joke can conjure, you need only read AB. B. News has hit back at the ABC, calling it sandal-wearing, deodorant-eschewing, muesli munchers, or words to that effect. In case you missed it, PhD has FTW the HSBC Business IRL. It's not so much a lol or NSFW, but a TLDR. Forget the whole thing. B. Customer Experience (CX) intelligence platform, InMoment, has expanded into Australia and New Zealand with the acquisition of customer experience agency, Brand XP, and appointment of Claire Fastier as its APAC business head. This cheese ad is that Gouda, B. From settling family disputes, "Hey Google, are fossil fuels really made from dinosaur bones?" to running a household, "Okay Google, add toothpaste to my shopping list." Voice-activated systems are becoming more. It's made even more exhaustive if it's read running up and down stairs. Video advertising and monetization platform SPOTX has announced the launch of an online resource library for the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR. The library can be found on the company's website, and is part of a wider educational initiative by SPOTX, which is headquartered in the US and has an office in One Check on B, which adds no weight to this store whatsoever. JWT has won a fiery pitch for the NSW Rural Fire Service and hosed down speculation it got its fingers burnt. Integrated communications firm Daylight Agency has cemented its presence in the government and political arena with the appointment of industry veteran David Begg. A practicing solicitor for over 28 years, Begg, pictured above, will head up the agency's new government division. He has extensive experience working with large commercial clients on high-profile regulatory and legal. Frost Design has shown off its comprehensive rebrand of iconic Australian infrastructure and property business John Holland, based around the brand idea of transforming lives. John Holland CEO Joe Barr said Frost was the only branding business who understood that the impact of the rebrand was just as important internally as it would be externally. "We've got an absolute cracking women in media profile today. Not to say it's approved by the Chiropractors Association." It seems former U.S. President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama aren't quite done with the international spotlight just yet. The Obamas have officially signed a multi-year deal with Netflix, which will see the power couple producing films and series with the streaming giant. According to Netflix, the Obamas will produce a diverse, "One need only view our editor's hot pink leg warmers today to realize he's neither fad nor trend." Today's B. And why is B? Fairfax Media has today announced the recruitment of 20 trainee journalists to join the newsrooms of the Sydney Morning Herald, The Age, the Canberra Times, the Australian Financial Review, Brisbane Times and Wataday. This represents one of Metro's largest trainee intakes in years and underlines the commitment of the mastheads to fostering a new generation. News war with the ABC exploded on last night's Media Watch. "Well, we think it did. We were watching embarrassing bodies TBWA. Sydney creatives now at real risk of increased tooth decay and acne after winning the Pepsi business." In what should prove a shock to absolutely no one, Nine's controversial Love Island is proving to be controversial. One need only take on B. A new book says the media industry is rife with psychos, which should come as no shock to anyone in the media industry. Monday's Changing the Ratio has to be the hottest ticket in town. Okay, with the exception of Cher and Michael Bolton. Are there not enough hours in the day? Are you cheek by jowl with your coworkers? Well, hopefully you won't win this. Even we have to admit, B. Media just can't keep its head of the news this week. Well, those media hogs Harry. Sydney Water has pioneered a way to create records from marine plastics and, in doing so, encourage more people to join the movement of local cleanup groups rolling up their sleeves every weekend to clean plastics, litter and other pollutants from the city's beaches and waterways. Plastics are collected by volunteers, then cut in pieces.